Been sitting here trying to figure out how a man says a thing he's been swallowing since the 3rd grade. I was 9 years old when I first knew, standing in the lunch line behind Callie Mae. She turned around and stole one of my fries and laughed like she'd been doing it for years. We've been inseparable since that Tuesday, 20-something years of everything and more. She calls me when she's happy, calls me when she's broken. I'm the first one and the last one, and the one she calls it for. I know her coffee order and her worst fears, know the face she makes when she's trying not to cry. Know every man who didn't see what I see, and I held her every time they said goodbye. Danny lasted 6 months, I was there. Marcus broke her in a way that took 2 years to heal. Tyler seemed alright till he wasn't, and I sat across her kitchen table, making her feel real. And every single time I almost say it, she smiles that smile and I lose my nerve. Because what if saying it loses me the only thing I know for certain that I don't deserve to lose? How do you tell your best friend that you've loved her since you were 9? That every guy she ever cried over should have been looking at what was right there all the time? How do you find the words for something that's been living in your chest for 20 years? I've started that sentence 1,000 times, Callie, and it always ends right here. It always ends right here. She called me last Sunday, voice all lit up, said there's someone new, I think this one is real. I said that's great, Cal, tell me everything. And I meant it, Lord, I meant it mostly. He takes her to the places I'd have taken her, says the things I keep inside my head. And she deserves every bit of happiness she's found, even when that happiness is him instead. So I sit across from her and smile like always, ask the questions any good friend would. Tell her she looks happy, tell her he sounds worthy, and I drive home in the dark like I always knew I would. How do you tell your best friend that you loved her since you were 9? That every guy she ever cried over should have been looking at what was right there all the time? How do you find the words for something that's been living in your chest for 20 years? I've started that sentence 1,000 times, Callie, and it always ends right here. It always ends right here. Maybe some loves aren't meant for saying out loud. Maybe some loves are just meant for showing up, for answering at 4 in the morning, for staying when the other ones gave up. Maybe I'm a fool, Lord knows that's probably true, but I'd rather be her best friend for the rest of my life than a stranger who once told her something she didn't need to hear. So I'll swallow it again, same as I always do. Fold it up and put it somewhere quiet. And tomorrow I'll just be the guy who shows up like always, like always. How do you tell your best friend that you've loved her since you were 9? That every guy she ever cried over should have been looking at what was right there all the time? How do you find the words for something that's been living in your chest for 20 years? I've started that sentence 1,000 times, Callie, and I'll start it 1,000 more. End right here, right here.